Caitlyn Clark has taken the WNBA by storm, entering the league with sky-high expectations and a media frenzy around her. Many thought the pressure might slow her down. Instead, she shattered every prediction and blazed a trail no rookie has ever touched this fast. In just a few months, she's rewritten the record books, sparked life into a struggling team by leading them into playoff contention, and made women's basketball a mainstream buzz for fans of all ages. Her impact isn't just impressive, it's historic. Few athletes in any sport have made this kind of splash so quickly. Even those who once doubted her pundits, reporters, influencers, and critics are now realizing they're witnessing something truly special. One of her newest fans, none other than NBA legend Shaquille O'Neal, known for his larger-than-life personality and bold opinions on TNT's Inside the NBA, Shaq has always had an eye for rising talent. While his initial interest in women's college hoops was sparked by the headline-making rivalry between Caitlyn Clark and Angel Reese, his loyalty naturally leaned toward Reese. After all, she's an LSU star just like him. Since their showdown in the 2023 NCAA championship, Shaq has publicly championed Angel Reese, even calling her the greatest basketball player to ever come out of LSI's, over himself and the iconic pistol Pete Maravich. That's no small compliment coming from a four-time NBA champ and league MVP. But even the Big Diesel is now starting to shift gears. Caitlyn Clark's meteoric rise and jaw-dropping performances have caught his attention, making even the fiercest LSU loyalist take a step back and appreciate her greatness. Glip.
Shaq told me that I was the best player to come out of LSU. It puts a lot of pressure on me, and I feel like I haven't done anything.
Angel Reese remembers the moment vividly. Shaquille O'Neal told her she was the best player to ever come out of LSU. For many, that would be a badge of honor. For Reese, it became a weight on her shoulders. I haven't done anything yet, she admitted, despite leading LSU to a national championship semi. Even Shaq and Pistol Pete Maravich couldn't achieve during their college years. That championship win changed everything. With the rise of NIL name, image, and likeness opportunities, Reese cashed in on her growing fame. But instead of following the crowd to Nike or Adidas, she made a bold move, signing with Reebok, a brand on a mission to reclaim its past glory. Interestingly, Reebok's president of basketball operations is none other than Shaquille O'Neal. The partnership made headlines and turned heads. Not only was it a major endorsement deal, but it also solidified a mentor-mentee relationship between Reese and O'Neal that's only grown stronger. Since then, Shaq has taken on more than just a behind-the-scenes role. He's become a trusted advisor to Angel, offering guidance on everything from the game itself to navigating the pressures of fame and professionalism. Shaq has never been shy about his admiration for Reese. He was in her corner long before she turned pro, and he's made it clear he's deeply invested in her success, not just as a fellow LSU alum, but as a future face of the sport.
Just, telling her how to handle adversity, how to handle, controversy. And, with a person like her, you don't really want to come and say, do this and do that. I would just come in and, giving her encouraging words, just telling her, to hang in there.
Among Angel Reese's loudest supporters has been Shaquille O'Neal, not just as a fellow LSU alum, but as someone with a direct stake in her success. With both of them now tied to Reebok, Shaq as president of basketball operations, and Reese as one of its biggest new signings. Connection runs deep. He was even spotted courtside at Chicago Sky games, cheering her on like a proud mentor. So it came as a bit of a shock when Shaq recently admitted that the player everyone should be watching isn't Reese. Caitlyn Clark. His comments came in the wake of a decisive Indiana Fever victory over the Chicago Sky, a game that all but cemented Clark's lead in the Rookie of the Year conversation. And for the first time, the Big Diesel openly acknowledged the obvious. Caitlyn Clark is doing things no one else is doing right now. She does everything right. Shaq said, I never used to speak on her because Angel's my girl, but I can't deny it anymore. She's the real deal. It's unclear how much contact Shaq and Reese have had since her WNBA debut, but one thing has always been clear. He believed in her potential from the start and wasn't afraid to say so. He's maintained a professional tone in his public comments, consistently applauding the rise of women's basketball overall. Yet, before the season tipped off, he firmly planted his flag in Reese's corner. That's what makes his latest praise for Clark so powerful. It wasn't just a passing compliment, it was a genuine moment of respect from someone who has seen basketball greatness up close. After playing alongside legends like Penny Hardaway, Kobe Bryant, Dwyane Wade, and LeBron James, Shaq knows what it looks like when someone gets it, and in Caitlyn Clark, he sees that same spark. She makes the right play. She doesn't complain when teams play her tough, and she just keeps winning. I watch her, and I want to be mad, but I can't. She's special. Much respect to her and her family. Coming from Shaq, that's more than a compliment, it's a a potential turning point. His admission might influence how the rest of the sports world treats Clark moving forward. If even he can't deny her dominance a despot, his personal and financial ties to Reese, how can anyone else? Of course, it was never in doubt that Caitlyn Clark would elevate the WNBA's profile. She single-handedly turned NCAA women's basketball into a national obsession, but the question was whether she could carry that momentum into the present, how fast the league and media would adapt to her rise. The answer, faster than anyone could have imagined. The Caitlyn Clark effect hasn't just translated to the WNBA. It's exploded. The 12th most-watched WNBA games of 2024 all featured the Indiana Fever. Combined, they pulled in between 1.2 and 2.3 million viewers each, surpassing the average NBA game from last season, which drew around 1.56 million. And that's not even counting the All-Star Game, which brought in a staggering 3.4 million viewers, most for any WNBA broadcast since the league's very first season back in 1997. Attendance is also booming. The Fever now lead the league in home game turnout, averaging nearly 177,000 fans per night. That's a dramatic leap from last season, when they struggled to fill 4,000 seats per game. All of this has translated into serious revenue, not just for the Fever, but for the entire WNBA. And as Clark's legend grows, so will the league's earning power. You can bet Shaquille O'Neal sees the business upside too. He's not just a Hall of Fame center and beloved broadcaster's a savvy investor, with a long track record of smart moves, and as someone who understands the power of partnering with global stars, it's no surprise he's now paying close attention to Clark's ascent. The clip you're about to see captures exactly how seriously he takes that potential.
Business. The way I learned business was a gentleman gave me a book, The Dummy's Guide to Starting Your Own Business. When I was reading it, wasn't familiar with anything, but it was a chapter that really piqued my interest. Joint ventureship.
Right now, it's not a great time to be a Caitlyn Clark critic. She's playing at a near MVP level, carrying what was once a struggling franchise into the playoffs, and leading the WNBA in both attention and revenue. Clark isn't just part of the rookie class, he's clearly at the head of it, and as her teammates begin to gel around her, she's emerged as the undeniable leader of the Indiana Fever. This remarkable rise has forced a lot of people to reevaluate their stance. Many analysts and commentators who once questioned whether her game would translate to the pros or who leaned more heavily in favor of Angel Reese have gone noticeably quiet. Some are even walking back their earlier takes, resurfacing only to acknowledge what's now impossible to ignore. The Caitlyn Clark era has officially begun. It's not slowing down. Asterisks.
In the NBA behind Asia Wilson, averaging 23.8 points per game.